Hi, I am Sheriff Patty Cole-Tindal, and this is the September video. Today I am at beautiful Steve Cox Memorial Park, which is in our unincorporated area of White Center. So today we are going to highlight patrol operations. Patrol, as you all know, is the bread and butter of the King County Sheriff's Office. So I'm excited that we're going to be able to spend some time with a couple of deputies today, and they'll be sharing with us what they actually do for our agency. But first, let me kind of give an overview. We have 4 precincts. We also have 16 contract partners to include 12 contract cities. We also police for 2 transit agencies, Sound Transit and Metro. We also police for the Muckleshoot Tribe as well as the King County Airport. We cover 2,300 square miles. We also have our unincorporated areas. So, King County Sheriff's Office, we cover so much. And let me talk about right now that we have various opportunities for our deputies. We have urban versus rural. We have a number of specialty assignments. We have an air support unit, we have a marine unit, we have our TAC 30, which is our SWAT team, we have a bomb unit, we have our crisis negotiation team. We have so much to offer here at the King County Sheriff's Office. And year to date, this just gives you some context. Patrol has responded to over 89,000 calls for service. When fully staffed, we have a complement of 661 deputies and sergeants. I'm just so proud of what Patrol does and what Patrol brings to our communities. So we're going to start, and I'm going to introduce Storefront Deputy Bill Kennemer. Hi, how are you
Sheriff.
today?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So, Bill, tell me a little bit about how long you've been here and why'd you pick the King County Sheriff's Office?
When I started, I've been on now for 24 and a half years. When I started, I was super pleased to get picked up by the Sheriff's Office. The reason I like the Sheriff's Office is because of the diversity you talked about. If you want to be an urban cop, you can work here in Precinct 4. If you want to be a country cop, you can work the Southeast or Northeast Precinct. If you want to be a mid-city cop, you can work Woodinville. We have such a diversity. Also, we have, like you talked about, the opportunities for us. I was lucky enough to get on the SWAT team, spent a decade on the SWAT team. We're teaching regular street cops to be helicopter pilots. You can do a lot. That's why I'm happy to be part of the Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been with the Sheriff's Office?
24 and a half years.
Wow. And share with us a little bit about some of the assignments that you have had. You talked about SWAT.
Yeah. I started out as just an unincorporated patrol right here in Precinct 4. I did that for a couple of years and got into CTAC. And CTAC was a fantastic job, really liked it. While I was in CTAC, I was the school resource officer there also for 2 years. And that really was a good job. I'm actually going to a barbecue this weekend with one of the kids who was there. Okay. He's turning 40, it's his 40th birthday.
Wow.
I moved from CTAC to Burien. And then got into the Burien set unit. That was a great job. Moved from Burien set to the initial push for Metro when they first became a full-time police agency. Spent 8 years at Metro. 5 of those years was on their bicycle squad. And that bike squad, that'll keep you in shape.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. We have bikes. And actual pedal bikes. Yes.
A lot of hills in Seattle. And while I was in Metro, that's when I got picked up by the SWAT team. I spent 10 years on the SWAT team, which is absolutely the highlight of my career. I loved the SWAT team. So I was in the SWAT team, working Metro, and left Metro for the storefront job here in White Center. So I'm now the White Center storefront guy. I've been here for 8 years.
So talk a little bit about what does a storefront deputy do?
I take care of neighborhood problems. Everything from towing junky cars to, if there's a problem house, using untraditional resources to the police. Like I have made really good inroads with code enforcement, health department, Department of Local Services. I have John Taylor on speed dial. So I go to the community meetings and speak with the community about problems.
So like if somebody was like, oh, I want to make sure my home is safe. I want to make sure could you come and help me with like giving me tips for how to keep my
Absolutely.
home safe?
Home safety inspections, business safety inspections, and I've spoke to all the weed shops trying to get them to up their game so they're safer.
Right. So how do you then interface with the patrol deputies? So you're part of patrol, but your assignment is storefront. So how do you interface with, say, somebody that's doing unincorporated precinct 4 work?
They're all my buddies. If there's a hot call, I'm going 100%. If there's only 2 deputies on duty here in White Center, if one's going to jail, I'm listening up for calls for service, and I will respond for calls for service. And I'll do that also for Skyway, and if there's a hot call anywhere in the precinct, I will go.
So tell me, over your 24 years, what you said your highlight was the SWAT team, but what really resonates with you about our agency?
You can do anything. I mean, if I've always been an urban cop. If I wanted to, I could be a country cop. And that's what I like the most about the sheriff's office, is the diversity of work that you can do. I mean, you can be a civil detective, you can be a murder cop. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you get to do.
So what would your advice be to, say, some of our younger deputies who are just coming on?
Figure out your niche. If your niche is tactical, start taking classes, just ask guys on the SWAT team, hey, what do you think about this? And they'll tell you. If you want to be a detective, start doing detective work. They're not going to bring it to you. You got to go get it.
Okay, that's good to know. You got to go get it. So, thank you,
All
Deputy
right.
Kennemer. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
So now we are going to speak to one of our motors deputies, Deputy Isaac Aaron. Deputy Aaron, how are you today?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. And you are with Maple Valley
Yes.
Motors Unit. So what I'd like you first to do is just tell me a little bit about your law enforcement career. And I know you're a lateral. So tell me a little bit about where you came from. So
I started out just outside St. Louis, Missouri. I worked there since 2010 for a sheriff's office. And then while I was there, I did some PR stuff. After I joined the SWAT team, I was the PR liaison with the SWAT team in the schools and everything else. And road deputy, we do the same thing. It's ancillary.
Okay.
And then in 2015, when the process was a bit longer, I just made the decision to move up here. Looked around and did some research, and I knew I wanted to be a part of a sheriff's office. Just one of those things. Once you work for a sheriff's office,
Yeah.
I think you kind of always want to stick with it. So I did some research, found that, as you had mentioned earlier, the amount of different things you can do here was, just insurmountable compared to what I had. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm all in. Put in my application, and then after the process was done, was started up here in 2016 in February, and been here since.
Okay. Well, great. So since you've been here, did you first go to Maple Valley, or what were some of your assignments here in the sheriff's office?
Moved around quite a bit. So I trained in Shoreline, and then I moved to, I was put into Precinct 2, Unincorp. From there, I worked a year in Kennemer, and then from Kennemer, I took an SRO position at Highline High School at Burien. And then did that for a couple years, and then transferred to Maple Valley.
Okay.
And then was there, patrol for a year, and then joined the motors unit.
So in your 6 years, you've had quite an
Yeah,
opportunity
I mean,
within the sheriff's office
When
here.
you move to a place, it's like a kid in a new toy
Yes,
store, right? It's
yes,
like, oh, I'm gonna
yes.
go look at this and look at this and look at this. So
Well, I'm glad you chose the King County Sheriff's Office.
thank you.
So now, tell me about this. This is an electric bike, right?
Yeah, so this is the Zero DSR. It's DS is for the dual sport. It's an all-electric motorcycle. I know Shoreline has some of the FXs, which are a little smaller version, about the size of a dirt bike, and then Maple Valley also has 2 other FXs. They're great bikes. They don't, obviously there's not a whole lot of agencies that use them for motors, full-time motors.
Okay.
So there's been some aches and pains in figuring things out with it, but all the other guys that are in part of the motors units, both in CTEC and Sammamish, have been a tremendous help getting me through the program, dealing with the same growing pains with the bike. But we got it through. So I took this through the motor school.
It doesn't make any noise. When you drove, when you came in and drove it here in the stadium, it didn't make any noise.
Yeah, it's very quiet, which is kind of a double-edged sword. So we can definitely get around, and it's not a nuisance. So I can hop on the trails at Maple Valley and do a quick patrol of the trails, and it's not a nuisance to the joggers and everyone else that's out there. But on the flip side, not a lot of people know you're around,
right,
other vehicles and stuff like that. But
so are you mainly used for traffic?
Yeah, I'm the traffic unit / motors unit for Maple Valley.
Okay. What advice would you give a new deputy here, just in general?
Take advantage of everything that's out there, be it the training, the different, discovering what it's like to be uncorp and contract cities and all the different units that are out there. A lot of the units, like we know that K9 and the air unit and the SWAT team, they all allow for you to come in and help train. So, I mean, you get time with the unit, you get to go around, figure out what fits your needs or what kind of niche you have, and then explore it, get to know the people that are in the units, and just go from there. I mean, it's kind of endless.
That's great. And I just want to say, I want to thank you for everything that you do, as well as want to thank everybody in patrol for the work. Patrol, like I said in the beginning, that's our bread and butter. It's those calls for service. We're responding to the community. But I just want to also say, patrol can't do their work without our professional staff, including our comm center staff and our other professional staff who help support patrol every day. But anyhow, thank you so much for joining me today in this video and highlighting this, I'm going to call it a new age, electric motorbike. I know when we were here, there was somebody from the public who had followed you. They wanted to see, wanted to take a picture. So I'm sure you get a lot of interest.
It's a conversation piece.
Yeah,
for sure.
So thank you very much. Appreciate it. That will be a wrap for our September video. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for everything you do to support the agency as well as the community. Have a great rest of your month.